All right. Yeah. So, hello again, everyone. For those of you who have just joined this meeting, it's unfortunate that we cannot start the first meeting of our class on site, on campus because of the situation, political tension, and everything. So we have to start it online. However, I hope that it doesn't impact your enthusiasm and your commitment to have the first meetings of your semester well and ready and prepared. Okay, so yeah, we hope that by next week we're gonna have the on-site meetings so that you can get back to our campus, get back to KDW and enjoy everything on site. I'm sure that you miss the canteen, perhaps. You might miss your friends, you might miss your lectures, hopefully, right? So I believe that you do not think like, oh, it's the first meeting again. I hope that everyone feels like, okay, it's a new day, new semester. I have better enthusiasm, better commitment, and better spirit, something like that. Okay, right. So before we start this language testing and assessment, do you guys have any question regarding the mechanism of our semester? Now, it's me as the head of the department. Yeah. Before we start our class, do you have any question about the mechanism of this semester, the new curriculum, about the other classes, if you have any, or about anything regarding our academic life, our new semester? Anybody? Anyway, Nava, do you have your microphone ready? Because I don't see. Do you have your microphone? Can you try to speak and unmute yourself? I just need to check. Because when I saw your icon, it's like you are unmuted, but I didn't hear any. So like, is it because you do not have the microphone? You can type in the chat box. You need to unmute yourself. Hello, Nava. And we're waiting for the questions. Anybody has any questions? Yang nggak apa-apa kepencet. Cuman tadi saya lihat kok Nava unmute ya unmuted. Cuman kok nggak ada suaranya. Jadi apakah karena mikrofonnya nggak berfungsi atau gimana? I mean like, can you try to speak and respond me?
Hello.
Okay, aman berarti ya Nafa. Okay. Yeah, because I'd like everyone to have the microphone. Yeah, thank you, Nafa. So I'd like everyone to have the microphone because later on you might need to discuss somewhere at some point in this meeting. So please have your microphone. If you're not using your earphones or you're not sure whether the microphone is good or not, you can unmute yourself and try to speak, okay? So do you guys have any questions about our semester, about our department, about anything? Anyway, do you know that today's the birthday of our department? Anybody knows? Ica udah tahu ya. What about the others? Atau jangan-jangan yang bikin konten Ica ya? Yang bikin konten buat IG Prodi. Was it you who made the content? No? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so Ica has already known about it. Yeah. Yeah, today's our birthday. I mean, our department's birthday, everyone. And yeah, we do hope that even though we cannot celebrate it on site, we do hope that it brings new spirit to our department. And there's actually some news as well that I need to perhaps announce. Some of you might already know it if you follow our Instagram. Some of you might haven't known about it. So let me tell you about it. Uh, the first news is that Bu Mega has already retired from our department, and it means that starting from this semester, we're not gonna have any class handled by Bumeka anymore. Yeah. However, we still contacted, Bumeka for many times, of course, and uh, she's still in touch. She has come to our department few times, yeah, recently. So yeah, we're still in contact with Bumeka. But in terms of her status in our department, Bumeka has retired. Yeah. And then the second news is Pa Andre. Pa Andre also has retired. Uh, Bumeka, the reason why Bumeka has retired was because, it's already the time for her to retire. Yeah. So I forgot Bumeka's age, but it's already the time for her to retire. And the second one, Pa Andre, yeah, Pa Andre has retired, and the reason for his retirement is due to his health condition. Unfortunately, uh, you know, you might notice that last semester, Pa Andre was not able to come to some meetings of your class due to his health condition, and he decided to retire in order to, uh, hopefully, yeah, recover faster and regain better health. And he's planning to do some other things instead of teaching. And yeah, we had to respect that. And yeah, that's the news. And the second news, Andre has retired starting from the 1st of September. And it's also unfortunate because we were actually planning to have a meeting yesterday, like, you know, the celebration for our department's birthday, and also like a farewell meeting for Padre, but due to the political tensions, we couldn't have it. But yeah, we have talked to Padre online, and yeah, we did it everything through online communications. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, anyway, that's the news. And in their places, I mean, in substitute for Pumeka and Pa Andre for this semester, uh, we don't have any new lectures. Yeah, so uh, all the class, all the classes, I mean, have been handled, and you might be able to see the schedule already. For the semester after this semester, we might have some new lecturers. Actually, this semester we were planning to have one new lecture, Bu Dea, yeah, for the TOEFL preparation, but since there was none of you taking the class, so that class was cancelled, yeah. And for the next semester, we might have some new lecturers handling few of our classes in case we need you know more instructors or more lecturers, something like that. Yeah, but for now we're going to have our classes handled with the PPE lecturers. Okay, any questions about it? No. Okay, so can you guys please turn on your webcam? Yeah, Rico has turned on his webcam, but I didn't see anything. Unica, you're on your way to Jogja?
Yes, sir. I will go back to Jogja today.
Okay, so uh, hopefully there's, you know, no demonstrations and everything, yeah, but please be aware of it, yeah, Unica, and be careful if there's a lot of people, big mass gathering somewhere, you need to avoid that, yeah. Okay, Unica, safe trip back to Jogja. Rico, are you at home right now?
Yes, still in Purbalingga, sir.
Still in Purbalingga, yeah, okay. Rafael, where are you right now?
At my home, sir.
Okay, in Jogja,
In Jogja.
in Jogja. Icha, you're in Jogja?
Yes, I'm in Jogja.
Okay, Nava, where are you right now?
I'm in Jogja.
In Jogja. Zed, are you okay? You look so sad. Or is it just, uh, because you just woke up?
I haven't slept in 2 days, sir. So
Oh my
yeah.
God. Because you did a project or
Uh, I was playing games, sir.
what game?
Crusader Kings 3.
That's an online one?
No.
Okay. Okay, Zed. That's not a good start for a new semester, you know. So if that game kept you awake for 2 days, you might need to find some strategy to pause, to pause and stop playing the game when needed, yeah. Because sleep is the most important thing that we need for our health. It's even more important than eating and drinking. So number one is actually sleeping, and then the second one is eating and drinking. So yeah, get some sleep after this. Yeah, said. Ola, what about you?
Yes. Hi, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you in Jogja?
I'm, yes, at my home.
Okay. What about Fania? I couldn't hear your voice. Kata Hosea masih rupa gembel dong. Yeah, so Fania, there's something about your microphone. Is it your microphone? Okay, I can hear you, but not that clearly. Yeah. So maybe you need to adjust the setting of your Zoom and check later on. Perhaps you need to raise the volume or something. Yeah, please check the setting of your Zoom. Okay, Vania, but you're in Jogja, right? In Jogja, okay. Puspa, how's life so far? Puspa,
Good, sir.
good, yeah? You're in
Yeah.
Jogja?
Yes.
Okay, so how's your holiday?
Mm, so.
So, you didn't go anywhere?
No.
No. Okay. Johan, are you in your dorm right now?
No, no, sir. I'm
Oh,
in I'm in
you
Gunung Kidul.
you're from Gunung Kidul?
No, this is grandma house.
Your grandma's house. Okay.
Yes.
We call it, if you're from Jogja or Gunung Kidul, we call it Gunung Kidul. It's not really Gunung Kidul. When you
Gunung
say Gunung
Kidul.
Kidul, yeah, Gunung Kidul.
Kidul.
When when we hear Gunung Kidul, it seems like you're not from, you know,
Jogja.
the local areas, yeah.
Local.
So we call it Gunung Kidul because I'm also from Gunung Kidul. Yeah. So yeah, your grandma's is in Gunung Kidul, but what about you? You and your parents?
Me.
Yeah, are you in Gunung Kidul or are you in Jogja or somewhere else? Where do you stay? Your parents especially.
Oh, I'm from Lampung, sir.
Okay, so
Yeah.
right, your grandma uh is from Gunung Kidul, but you live with your parents in Lampung, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Which part of Gunung Kidul, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
Pelayan, Pulau Gandung.
Oh, that's
Pulau,
close to
Pulau Gandung. Pulau
Lokandang.
Gandung.
Yeah,
Pulau
that's
Gandung.
close. That's close to my parents' house. Yeah, that's
Oh,
close to my parents' house. But I stay in Jogja, by the way, in Bantul. Yeah, in Bantul. But uh, I'm actually from Gunung Kidul. Okay, Johan, and then Hosea, what about you?
I'm still at home, sir.
At home in
Yeah, Jogja.
Jogja.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, because I saw you during the orientation week, right? Yeah,
yeah.
so you're in Jogja. Okay. Pila, what about you?
I'm good, sir.
You're at home?
I'm at my boarding house.
Boarding house in Jogja, yeah? Is it near campus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you okay, by the way?
I just woke up, sir.
Oh, you just woke up, but everything's good?
I need more sleep.
You need more sleep. But unfortunately, I couldn't grant you, you know, sleep for now, yeah? But please wait for like 40 minutes, 40 minutes. Everyone, yeah? Pila and Zed. Did you play the same game? No, right?
What game?
Because Zed just told us that he didn't sleep for 2 days playing a game. Oh, perhaps Nabila was busy with the orientation. Was it?
No, I'm not. I'm playing Roblox, actually.
Okay, another game like app, yeah. All right. So yeah, everyone, please find a way to pause, when you have something like game or Roblox or anything. As long as you feel like it can increase your productivity, then that's fine. But if it's like refreshment for you and it might affect, let's say, your performance, please find a way or
Yeah,
strategy.
of course.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I do hiking there and I do know lots of mountains.
You hiked and you know a lot of mountains in
Mm-hmm.
Roblox.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Bila and then Baptista, what about you?
I'm in my boarding house in Jogja.
In Jogja, yeah, Baptista. Okay. Baptista is in Jogja, and then who else? Ica, Inika, Nabila, Lucia. Kinan, what about you? Can you turn on your webcam? Kinan? Anyway, none of you was involved in the demonstrations, right? Okay, good, good. Yeah, I mean, like, it might be important for you to attend such activities, but your safety is more important, you know. If you join such activities, but then uh, let's say it's too risky for you, for your life, then better don't, right? Do not get involved to such activities. That's what I'm saying, because your main objective is to, you know, to study and then to when you go to Jogja, your main objective is to study, right? To finish, hopefully finish your bachelor's, um, or undergraduate study, and then hopefully you're gonna get a good career afterward, right? So joining such activities, I think, is too risky for you. It's better not to join such activities. If you have certain political views or you feel like you need to contribute to the betterment of the political situations, you can contribute by choosing other paths, choosing other activities. For example, right now, we can write anything, we can say about anything online, right? So, for example, if you want to uh, deliver or show your aspirations, express your aspirations, you can do it online. Yeah. But please remember that you guys need to have the wisdom. Yeah. You guys need to have the wisdom before doing so. I mean, like, think twice before posting, or at least read it 2 times or 3 times before posting or make certain posts that might affect your reputation. Because posting online might not be risky, but in terms of non-physical aspects like your reputation, your status, and even your academic life, it might be as risky, right? Because if you post something that's, for example, uh, inappropriate and that brings your name, your family's name, or perhaps your university's name, if it's inappropriate and then it got spotted by the, let's say, netizen, yeah, so-called netizen, there will be some penalty for that, yeah, kalau namanya inappropriate, right? So be careful about it as well, yeah. Cuman in terms of physical aspect, it's not as risky as demonstrations, right? Gitu. But yeah, think twice, or at least twice, yeah, or 3 times, 4 times before posting, because it's very heated situations right now. Yeah, everything that we say, everything that we write might have some backlash if it's political. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, Rico, nyawa saya cuma satu. Yeah, that's right, Rico. Nyawa nyawa kita cuma satu gitu ya, nggak kayak kucing. So we need to be careful. Kucing kan katanya 9 ya. Cuman kucing 9 nggak pernah ikut demo loh. So kita yang nyawanya satu ya, it's better for us to, prevent anything that's very risky physically. And then takut ada polisi. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yes. Okay, so let's get back to Kinan. Kinan, hello. Do you have the microphone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so are you now in Jogja or anywhere else?
Yes, I'm in Jogja.
In Jogja, okay. Right, Kinan. So how's your holiday?
Um, Good.
Good, but but you needed to think for a moment. So was it really good?
It is.
It is, yeah. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Kinan. And then yang belum, Aka, hello Aka. Angel juga belum ya? Angel?
Hello,
Angel,
sir.
okay, Aka, where are you right now? Do you have the webcam?
Oh, wait, oh,
Yeah. Ola juga belum, right? Have you?
Saya sudah,
Oh,
olah
sudah.
sudah.
Okay. Because the order is somehow jumbled, for so let's get back to Aka. Okay, One Piece. Yeah. So I can predict your political sentiment, yeah, from the flag that you're showing behind. So yeah, Aka, How's life so far?
Um, in this in the last holiday, sir.
Mhm.
Um, in last holiday, I just stay at home and do my side job. So I just um stay at home, do my side job, my part-time job, and then sometimes I go to cinema to watch movie, and yeah, that's my life in my holidays, and just like that.
Your side job is what do
My
you
side
do?
my side job is I work uh in Yami Panda.
Mm.
If
In,
Sir Ender know,
of
I'm
course.
as a as oh yeah, I'm sometime I'm in the kitchen, and sometime I be apa a waiter. But in my chapter, there are not we not deliver food to the
The
customer, so
customer,
we have self service.
self-service.
We just prepare the food and check the food is right.
So you know the ingredients and also the, you know, apa namanya? Recipe for the food, right?
Oh, and the recipe is from them. So we cook like we cook instant noodle. So there is
Oh, I see.
yes, sir. So
So
they
you have
give
several
us, yeah,
packages and then
they give us like instant noodle packages ingredients like oil,
mm,
and the broth is from powder like
mm,
powder broth.
I see, I see. Yeah, uh, that explains how quickly, many restaurants can serve the foods to the customers. I think that's also the case with Solaria and several other restaurants, right? And they might have everything ready in packages, and then when there's some orders from the customers, they just need to like perhaps recook or uh, you know I don't know to process the ingredients into the food quickly. Yeah, so they do not start from scratch. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's interesting and uh, excellent as well of you. Yeah, to work not only study but work part time and uh, can support your financial needs and everything. Yeah, and I hope all of us can you know try to do so as well. Yeah, it's a good way for you to look for any other opportunities besides studying, and hopefully you can support uh, your parents or your study financially. Yeah, yeah, very good. Aka ya, ada yang belum saya tanya? Anybody? Everyone has, I believe, right? So anyone is not joining? Anyone is registered to my class but not joining? Hopefully everyone has, yeah. Okay, now, do you also join my other classes other than this language testing and assessment, everyone? Digital content creation? No? Yeah, no. Some of you are joining, some of you are not joining, yeah? Okay, digital content creation, and then the other one, English for job hunting. Yes, yeah, most of you. What else do I teach? Introduction to linguistics? No. Okay, so I believe later on I'm gonna need to check whether most of you have joined my digital content creation, and also the other one was introduction to linguistics. No. What was the other one? English for job hunting, yeah? Okay. All right. Yeah. I need to say that actually in all of those classes, we're gonna be using WhatsApp as our main medium of communication, in addition to our e-class and also some other media. Okay. So I guess we can start the class. Let's start the class. Share screen. Okay. Any questions, by the way? Have you had any discussion, workshop, or perhaps materials about language testing and assessment before you joined this class? Anyone? So what do you know about language test or assessment? This is the name of the class, by the way. Language test and assessment, language testing and assessment. Anybody knows anything about language testing and assessment? Zed, no. Thank you for your response. What about the others? The name of the class is Introduction to Language Testing and Assessment. Now, we have testing, we have assessing, we have test, we have assessment. How do they both relate or differ from one another? Anybody? Have you ever attended a test before? How do you consider language test? When did the last time you attend a language test? English language test? Anybody? Let's say, Ola, when did the last time you attend a language test? I'm gonna pick anybody randomly in case there's no answer, yeah? Voluntary answer. So I'm gonna pick anybody randomly, so get ready. When did the last time you attend a language test? Ola.
Yes, a
When did
language test.
English test?
Is it like ulangan harian or
Yes, that can be.
TOEFL?
TOEFL, yes, that can be
Maybe,
a test.
maybe in high school when there is ulangan harian or UAS UTS.
Okay, thank you, Ola. In high school, yeah? UAS or UTS. Was it the last time? No. What about Nava? What about Nava? When did the last time you joined a language test, English language test?
Maybe in the last semester in IELTS class.
Yes, in the last semester in IELTS class. Was that the last class that you had? Last semester?
IELTS.
IELTS, yeah? Okay, with Bu Endang, yeah? Anybody had any more recent language tests after IELTS? Anybody? Perhaps during the holiday, anyone has taken like a language test online, or perhaps TOEFL, or perhaps anyone has attended another class during the holiday? No? Okay, so IELTS might be your last language test, yeah, IELTS test. Okay, so then the question is, what makes a test a test? Anybody? Now let's brainstorm any words related to a test. What makes a test a test? How can we call a test a test? Or maybe another question is, what are the characteristics of a test? Anybody? Just mention one or two words in the chat box or by unmuting yourself and speak out one or two words. Otherwise, I'm gonna pick anyone randomly. Okay, so Ola, rubric, very good. Rubric, yeah. And then Bila, score, yes. And then it's a result. What kind of result? It's a Unica rules. Yes, I agree. So there should be score. According to Pila, there should be a score, yes, because otherwise, when you test somebody and then you do not show the score or there's no final result, uh, it means that it's not really a test, right? And then rubric, according to Ola, yes, I agree, because when we test a group of students, for example, and then we do not have the rubric, let's say it's a speaking test, then the teacher will have a big trouble in, generating the scores, right? Nilainya gimana when you have a group of students diminta presentasi, for example, you ask them to present, and then you need to assess the, presentation. You need to score the presentations. How would you do so if you do not have the rubric? Anybody? Bisa sih, but what's the problem will you have as a teacher if you need to assess a presentation, speaking presentation, for example, without a rubric? Anybody? Rules, yes, rules. Tadi ya, usually we're gonna have directions, ya, ada instruksinya gitu kan, and then peraturannya kayak gimana and so on. Yes, so rules. Anxiety, yes, that, yes, I agree. So, uh, it's not a test. It might not be, a real test if you do not have any anxiety. So anxiety is also one of the characteristics of the test. But then the question is, how can we make sure as a teacher that the anxiety produced as a side effect of the test will not, will not outweigh the benefits of the test? How can we make sure as a teacher that our test will not produce anxiety that is, uh, let's say, counterproductive, that is not productive? That's the question. That's the question, a very big question that we need to, answer throughout this class. Yeah. Valid. Pila, was that the response that you gave to Z's answer, or is it another word? That's the characteristic of another word. Valid. Yeah. So we need to design a valid test. Yeah, I agree. We need to design a valid test. It means that there are some measurement, there are some characteristics that we can talk about to say whether a test is valid or not. We call it validity. Yeah, validity. So a good test should be valid, something like that. All right. So anybody would like to try to answer this to continue this definition of a test? What makes a test a test? A method of blah, 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 according to Brown. So Brown, by the way, is one of the key figures in language test and assessment. We will read his work for quite many times in this class. Brown. Anybody? A method? Kalau ini kira-kira bisa nggak? Anybody can try. A method of? Anybody? You can write in the chat box or unmute yourself. A method of measuring, very good, Pila. A method of measuring ability, yes, Unica, very good. Measuring a person's ability. And then we still have KN here. So it must be ability, and then the second one. Knowledge, yes, very good. Aka, yeah. Bila, yes, knowledge. Or PE, blah, blah, blah. Ability, knowledge, or what about speaking? When you're assessing speaking by having a presentation, how do you call such a thing that you need to assess as a teacher? Yes, you are assessing the speaking ability of the students, of course, and then you might be assessing the knowledge of the students that is demonstrated through their speaking blah blah blah. So that blah 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 is this PE. Anyone can guess? It's speaking blah blah blah. Speaking performance. So yes, performance, Nabila. Why? Because oftentimes we cannot assess through mental communication. For example, you try to assess somebody's speaking ability just by looking at them or just by sitting still and then do some meditation. Gak bisa kan? Can you assess my speaking ability by meditating? Kalian sebagai guru terus kalian meditasi gitu because you want to try to assess my speaking ability. Can you do that? Gak bisa dong, right? Gak bisa dong. So it means that you need to measure something out of usually or oftentimes performance. You need to ask your students to perform. Performance here can be in the form of speaking performance or even written performance. Writing, you can ask them to write. So the writing, the product would be their performance, their writing performance. Or you can ask them to do a project, for example. The project would be the performance. So performance here is not only something that's on stage, but it can be anything that is produced or that is done by the students. Yeah, that's performance. In a given do, the last word. Ya, Zed, thank you for your answer. Gak bisa ya? Masa mau uji speaking kita meditasi absurd gitu. Jadi nggak bisa, harus pakai performance. Harus ada yang bisa dilihat, diukur gitu. In a given domain, ya. The last one is domain. Yes. Okay. Now, ini langsung saja ya. Yes. Anybody can help me to read it? What about Vania?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
A well-constructed test is an instrument that provides an accurate measure of a test taker's ability within a particular domain.
Yes, so a well-constructed test is an instrument. Remember that when we do a test, when we administer a test, we need an instrument. Ada instrumennya. That is the so-called rules tadi. Jadi kata Unika tadi ada rules. So the rules should be documented through your testing instruments, through your test instruments, something like that. So we need a set of instruments if we are asked to test our students. And then a good or a well-constructed test is usually, it has an instrument that provides an accurate measure. So there should be accuracy in the measurement of the performance, of the knowledge, of the ability, of our students. There should be an accurate measurement. And one way to do that is by having, for example, what Ola said as rubric, right? Rubric itu gunanya for that, for the accuracy. Imagine if you're assessing your students' speaking performance without any rubric. It's gonna be very subjective, right? You can imagine, for example, when you assess the speaking performance while you're feeling sad at some point, gitu ya. Gurunya lagi sedih gitu, terus muji tanpa rubrik gitu. Nilainya bisa jadi jelek semua. Suasana hatinya is not good, right? And you can imagine when he or she is happy, for example, when we are happy, the situation might look like everything's good, right? Even though the speaker performance is not as good, but because we're happy, perhaps our subjective sense, our subjective reality will make the speaking performance look good if we do not have the rubric. So the rubric is actually an important part of our instruments that can minimize subjectivity in the mind of the teacher, ya supaya nggak subjektif banget gitu, makanya kita pakai rubrik. So we're gonna be learning about that in this class ya. Gimana sih cara bikin rubrik gitu biar dosennya nilainya nggak dosennya atau gurunya dalam hal ini ya menilainya nggak ngasal atau nggak semena-mena gitu ya, pakainya rubrik. And then ya domainnya itu when we say domain here, it can refer to the skill, a certain type of skill. Kalau kalian ngetes speaking, for example, it's gonna be different from when you're assessing writing or when you're assessing the other skills. So the domain here is the skills. Oftentimes, we need to specify the domain so that we can create a well-constructed instruments to assess the domain or the skill or the knowledge. The domain here can also refer to the contents of the test. Yeah, when you're assessing, let's say, argumentative essay might be different from when you're assessing, let's say, speech. Satunya di domain written gitu ya, and the topic is about argumentative writing, and then the other one is in spoken domain, right? And then the topic is about speech. Genre-nya sudah berbeda. So the domain here can refer to the skills or the topics or the genres of the text, something like that. Now, the next question, do you think that assessment is the same as testing, do you think? Anybody? Sama nggak sih assessment and testing? According to Z, no, nggak sama gitu ya. Z ini ngantuk-ngantuk tapi jawabannya oke-oke loh dan aktif gitu ya. Gimana kalau cukup tidur loh kamu Z? Tidur nggak tidur 2 hari, jawabannya oke-oke. Gimana kalau tidur gitu? So, what about the others? No, Rafael bilang no. Yunika bilang different. Yeah, so between yes and no actually. Jawabannya between yes and no, ya. Kinan no, ya. Bisa yes, bisa no actually. But the next question is why? Yunika no, ya. The next question is why? Kenapa kok bisa yes, bisa no? Yang no dulu deh, karena sebagian besar bilang no. Kenapa kok berbeda assessment and testing? Anybody? Salah nggak apa-apa, ini cuman diskusi kan, nggak saya tes gitu. Jadi salah nggak apa-apa. Ini cuman assessment. Saya melakukan assessment. I'm not testing you, so don't worry of making mistakes. Anybody would like to unmute yourself or write in the chat? Cuman kalau tulis kayaknya kepanjangan. Ada yang bisa jelasin nggak? Kenapa kok assessment itu nggak sama atau nggak 100% sama dengan testing? Tadi saya kasih contoh tadi. Ini saya mengassess kok, saya nggak ngetes. Nah itu artinya bedanya apa? Anybody? Biar cepat selesai, kita tinggal punya waktu more or less 10 menit. Kalau 1 jam tadi. Nanti saya kasih tugas Pak ini. Now, when I say I'm assessing you, I'm not testing you, artinya apa? What do I mean? Our discussion right now, it's a form of assessment, not a test. How can you understand that it's not a test? Ada yang bisa menjelaskan? Z. Testing lebih ke teknik, assessing lebih ke memahami. Testing lebih ke teknik, assessment lebih ke memahami. Almost. Kinan, kalau assessment cara buat ngecek kemampuan, yes. Yes, tapi tes apakah itu juga bukan buat mengakses kemampuan? Assessment to evaluate, kalau tes to see the skill and fix the skill and improve ya the skill. Oke, assessment to evaluate. Kalau tes apakah bukan buat evaluate? Do we evaluate our student skill by testing? That's the question. Oke, kita coba cek ya. Kita coba cek. This one, maybe the figures right here can help you to better understand the distinction and the similarities between test and assessments. Let me check. Kinan, tes salah satu bentuk assessmentnya lewat soal dan nilai. I agree. Yes. Nggak tahu, maaf. Kalau nggak tahu ya nggak perlu minta maaf toh. Karena nggak tahu itu nggak dosa gitu. Kecuali kalau eh, kecuali kalau udah dites. Nah, kalau udah saya bilang minggu depan kita tes ya, badan kalian nggak belajar, nah itu agak dosa ke diri sendiri sih. Cuman kalau ini kan meeting pertama, jadi nggak tahu ya nggak apa-apa gitu, nggak dosa. You do not need to say sorry ya. Yeah. And then Nava, kalau tes ada skornya, tapi assessment tidak. Kalau tes ada skornya, tapi yes, very good Nava. Ya, itu salah satu yang bedakan. Assessment doesn't always need scoring system. Ya, I said doesn't always. Berarti kadang-kadang bisa jadi uh, an assessment needs a scoring system, right? But for some cases or for many cases, assessment do not require scoring system. Yeah, so you may not have a score or scoring system for an assessment. Makanya tadi saya bilang, this discussion is an assessment. Nggak ada skornya, saya nggak kasih skor kok setelah ini, so don't worry of making mistakes. Itu maksud saya tadi. That's assessment. Assessment lebih ke belajar kemampuan diri. Yeah, in assessment you can measure your ability. Like for example, there are some forms of assessment that are like self-assessment gitu ya, kayak reflection. When your teachers or lecturers ask you to write a reflection, then it's a self-assessment ya, a way of you to measure your skills gitu. Rico, assessment uji kemampuan lebih santai dan testing uji kemampuan diri dari yang udah dipelajari dan tidak santai. Yes, yes. Diskusi ini kan santai ya. Cuman kalau bayangin, kalau imagine when you're having a final exam, you might not be as relaxed as this, right? That's what we call as anxiety, right? Test anxiety. Perhaps most of you might feel anxious during an exam, UTS atau UAS gitu. Mungkin kalian lebih anxious, apalagi UAS-nya atau UTS-nya are classroom exams gitu ya. Jadi kalian harus perform, let's say. So you might feel anxious, you might feel some anxiety, right? Yeah. Jadi assessment relatif lebih santai. Very good. So which one is the best description of the relationship between the two, between assessment and test? Is it the first one, this picture, or is it the second one, this picture, or is it the third one, this picture? Anybody? The first, the second, the third. Loh, kok udah ada arrow-nya? Ya, sorry. Udah ke spill gitu. So, the right one is this one. Ya. Can you explain, anybody? Ada yang bisa menjelaskan? The third, yes. Can you explain? Ini maksudnya apa ya? Anybody? You can see here that there's teaching as the biggest circle, and then inside teaching here you have assessment, and then inside assessment here you have test. Anybody can explain in simple language, in English or in Indonesian or mixed? Or I'll pick one of you. Yang belum pernah. Yang belum pernah. Let's say Hosea. What about Hosea? Bisa coba jelasin? Can you explain it? Hosea, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Oke. By the way, kalau kalian lagi nyambi apa gitu, langsung respon. Yang penting merespon sih. Maksudnya kalau mudah-mudahan nggak ada yang lagi makan ya. Kalau yang ada nyambi di toilet gitu ya, saya nggak akan paksa buat jelasin. Tapi you need to respond, right? Harus merespon, kasih tahu saya lagi di mana. Oke, Hosea, can you explain?
Apa? Um,
Try. Karena ini nggak dites kok. So, kira-kira gimana ya?
Apa ya? Mungkin kalau apa sih untuk bagian assessment is apa kayak belajar dari apa ya kemampuan yang secara banyak secara general atau mungkin ya something like that. And then untuk tes mungkin lebih ke apa ya uji kemampuan yang lebih spesifik.
Okay, so based on this picture, Hosea, can we say that tests are forms of assessment? Boleh nggak saya bilang bahwa tests are forms of assessment? Tes itu adalah apa? Bentuk dari assessment atau satu bentuk dari assessment.
Mungkin bisa, sangat bisa karena apa tes kan lebih ke apa kemampuan kita yang secara spesifik yang untuk diuji, maka dari itu kayak dibuat apa ya mempelajari lebih dahulu eh, dari skala ke general ke spesifiknya mungkin gitu.
Very
Dari
good.
gitu.
Yes, exactly. So, for example, I said that our discussion right now is a form of assessment. Is it a test? I said no, right? So it means that our discussion right now is an assessment that is not a test. Berarti letaknya di sini, right? Our discussion right now. But for example, if I have a final exam for this class, that final exam is gonna be a form of a test, right? UAS itu kan tes, dia bentuk dari tes gitu. So it means that it's here. Kalau UAS ya berarti di sini letaknya gitu. Is it also assessment? Berdasarkan gambar ini berarti iya. Semua tes itu adalah assessment. Semua tes itu ya adalah bentuk assessment gitu. But not all assessment can be considered test. Contohnya kayak diskusi kita. Sekarang kan nggak dinilai, berarti itu assessment. Tapi dua-duanya itu berarti kan they share the same characteristics. They share some similarities. Persamaannya apa? Yang paling utama. They're used to, gunanya untuk apa? Baik test or assessment. Diskusi kita sekarang, for example, itu gunanya kalau dibandingkan dengan UAS itu, what do they have in common? What are they intended to achieve or to do? Tujuannya, test atau assessment. To measure, tadi. Teaching requires testing. Ola, thank you for your answer. Teaching requires testing and assessment to monitor students' progress. Yes. Jadi, both test and assessment are intended to monitor students' progress. Tujuannya kan sama-sama itu gitu. Tes sama assessment. Untuk monitor atau to measure tadi ya di definisi kita. To measure the students' skills, the students' ability, students' knowledge, students' performance ya, the students' progress gitu. Nah, that's why dibilang sama ya iya, karena semua tes itu ya assessment gitu ya. Dibilang beda ya iya, karena beberapa assessment itu bukan tes karena nggak dinilai, for example, right? Tapi dua-duanya punya tujuan yang sama. They're used to measure skills, knowledge, ability, right? Progress in the learning itself. Yeah. Now, from this picture, we can also see that tests and assessment are part of teaching. How does it make sense? Anyone can explain. Kenapa test and assessment should be part of teaching? Anyone? Ya iya dong, cuman bisa dijelasin. Kenapa nggak boleh di luar teaching, for example? Biar bisa tahu progres murid, Pak. Yes, yes. Imagine this. Teachingnya ya, imagine this. You are now in the class of, let's say, listening class. And then the teacher has taught you like the skills, listening skills, to, for example, express understanding of daily daily communications or daily listening texts, something like that. And then for the final exam, the students are going to be assessed in terms of their ability to read newspaper. Do you think that the test or the assessment in that case is relevant? Relevan nggak? Kelasnya listening, diajarin strategi listening gitu. No, yes, Akai. No. Kelasnya listening kok tesnya atau assessmentnya disuruh baca koran di demo siswanya. Karena nggak diajarin, right? Nggak diajarin. Sama kayak halnya kalian, for example, zaman-zaman dulu ada ujian sekolah gitu ya. Kalian belajar materi, udah capek-capek mungkin ikut neutron atau apa yang terkenal sekarang ya. Ya itulah kursus-kursusan gitu ya. Terus tiba-tiba ujiannya tentang, let's say, menggambar gitu. Kan menggambar itu biasanya nggak masuk ujian. Ya masuk sih yang seni ya. Cuman maksudnya kalau nggak ada clue sama sekali, gurunya nggak ngajarin itu, tapi tiba-tiba ujiannya beda gitu ya, nggak diajarin ya di demo nanti. So yeah, test and assessment are actually part of teaching gitu. Jadi ya, because you teach, then you will need to assess gitu kan. The assessment is gonna be uh, your duty, quote unquote. It's gonna be your report as a teacher that you have done your job, something like that. So the assessment and the test is part of the teaching itself, sepaket gitu ya. Ada banyak sih jenis-jenis assessment and test. Later on, I think we're not gonna discuss it right now, tapi later on we're gonna learn to better understand them throughout our next meetings. Do you have any questions so far? Ada pertanyaan sampai sejauh ini? Anybody? I hope you're still with me. Yunika udah sampai mana?
Belum tahu, Sir.
Belum tahu ya, tapi masih jauh. Nyampe jam
Masih
berapa?
jauh, Sir. Sekitar jam 3, Sir.
Jam 3, oke.
Karena
Tapi
dari
sinyal,
Jakarta, Sir.
tapi sinyal oke ya ini, karena kadang-kadang kan mati kalau di kereta.
Oke, Sir.
Oke. Baik, ada pertanyaan dari Yunika mungkin atau yang lain?
Saya sejauh ini
Oke, alright. What about, saya pick randomly lagi ya. What about Rafael? Rafael suaranya nggak kedengeran dari tadi.
Yes.
So, do you have any
Ada, sir.
question?
No, sir.
No question. Oke, satu lagi deh. What about Baptista? What about Baptista? Baptista nggak online, nggak onsite?
Ada, sir.
Diam aja. Oke, question?
No, sir.
No question. Okay.
Yes.
All right, everyone. If you have no question, then wait, let me check. I need to share something else. I was planning actually to do a discussion about this, but the time doesn't allow us to do it tentang ini sebenarnya. Tapi ya, let's keep it for other. Like for example this, saya tuh tertarik ngomongin tentang yang politik ini ya, because you know all of this, all of these, the cases that are happening right now are due to, let's say, anger. Yes, the public, yeah, the public is in, let's say, big anger, right? They're very angry about the policy, about the government and everything, right? The House of Representatives, right? But you know, the start of the event was actually from a communication, right? You can say that it's a miscommunication. It's a way of expressing ideas in a wrong manner, right? And there's some misunderstanding as well that occurred in the communication of the House of Representatives, the parliaments, right? And the society. So, how do you think language plays a role in that? And in terms of language testing, karena topik kita hari ini kan tentang language testing and assessment, right? In terms of language testing and assessment, if you are an English teacher, for example, how would you design a test of any skills? It can be speaking, it can be writing, it can be listening, any skills that can shape and help to measure. So first we need to shape, right? And then later on we measure the progress of the students' language skills as well as their literacy about social situations, about political issues, and about society in general. So we're talking about not only language skill here, but also social literacy, social awareness. We have another subject, by the way, English for social awareness in this new curriculum. So if you happen to take that class, later on you will learn about it. So how do you think language testing and teaching can help your students, if you're the English teacher, yeah, to have better language skill, communication skill, as well as literacy? Kira-kira gimana? That's the question. Karena semua berperan, right? Guru itu mempengaruhi siswanya loh. Nanti siswa jadi mahasiswa. Nanti mahasiswa jadi yang menjalankan demonstrasi and so on, right? Salah satunya kan ada mahasiswa. Bisa jadi nanti siswanya ada yang jadi polisi, for example. Atau bahkan jadi pemerintahnya, gitu ya. DPR-nya and so on. So we're talking about language skills and literacy. Kira-kira kayak gimana? Ada yang sudah punya jawaban? Or you need more time to think about it? Kalau boleh tahu, miscommunication-nya tadi apa ya? Ada yang bisa menjelaskan? Yang saya maksud tadi? Mulainya kan dari satu, you know, ada satu event, right? Ada yang bisa menjelaskan? Banyak sih penyebabnya, cuman eventnya kan di satu sebenarnya, satu komunikasi yang lewat aja gitu, like disalahpahami and then memicu situasi sekarang ini. Anybody? You can explain it in English or in Indonesian. Ini nggak kita publikasikan, so jangan jangan takut. Rekaman ini hanya untuk internal kelas kita. Anybody? Icha, perhaps? Are you there? Kira-kira miskomunikasi apa yang menyulut situasi sekarang ini? Hello, Ica? Ica, are you there? Oh, in the chat box. Oh, you're in the bedroom right now, yeah. Okay, what about okay. So there are many factors causing this situation, political situation right now in Indonesia. And can you identify one event, communicative or communication event that becomes some sort of thing igniting these demonstrations and also everything, causing these political tensions right now? So there's one miscommunication at that time that, was recorded, and then it was spread out uh, in the social media, right? And it ignited, quote unquote, the demonstrations that we're having uh, these days. So can you identify that event of communication? Can you point out? There's actually more than one, but perhaps you can mention one. And we're dealing with language, right? Language means communication. So berarti kan literasi tadi and then communication tadi and language tadi kan are actually inseparable from every aspects of our life, right? Termasuk politik dan sebagainya. Does it make sense, Ica? Do you get my point? Are you typing right now? Sambil nunggu Ica, what about who else? Pita, would you like to share something? Ini saya sambil ngetes buat kelas English for Social Awareness nanti. Tapi nanti yang ngajar bukan saya sih. Anybody? That's okay. That's okay to make mistakes. So don't worry. You're safe. You're in the safe space right now. Komunikasi satu arah hanya dari rakyat. Biasanya pakai aparat. Ya. Nah, komunikasinya apa? Because we need to focus on the communicative event. Komunikasinya di mana? Contoh eventnya mungkin saat pidato, saat wawancara, saat apa? Then we can deal with the language, right? Kemudian kita bisa uh, menggali bahasanya. Baptista, what about you? Nggak selesai-selesai nih. Saya tungguin dah. Anybody? Or Ola? Or Aka? Kira-kira eventnya yang mana? Contoh gitu. Contoh eventnya. Nafa? Sesusah itu kah, everyone? Okay, so the examples might be the interview that Pak Syahroni ya had, for example, right? Or the press conference that was done by the parliaments, right? There was a representative of the parliament explaining about the proposed housing allowance, right? Saying that there's around berapa ratus juta atau berapa per hari itu kan harusnya kan per bulan gitu. Tapi dia bilang 100 juta ya kalau nggak atau 50 juta or something per hari gitu. So that's a miss per hari 3 jutaan ya. Yeah, I forgot the number, tapi there's a miscommunication there. And also Pak Saroni ketika diwawancara waktu itu ya, he said something like something that um, doesn't really respect the situation right now, right? Because there's a big gap in the, let's say, we can say financial gap between the rich and the poor, right? So that's social issues, right? That's communication, that's language. It has language in it, and it has literacy as well about not only the language but also the social issues. Now my question, pertanyaan saya ada, how do you think language teaching and language test or assessment can contribute to better understanding of not only the language but also social skills, communication skills, and also literacy of any other related things like politics, like the culture and everything. Kira-kira gimana? That's one question that needs you more time to think. Ya, I'm gonna give you some time. You can use AI boleh, mau pakai ChatGPT dan sebagainya boleh. Jadi pertanyaan saya tadi apa ya? Ada yang bisa merangkum pertanyaan saya? Anybody? Sebelum kita akhiri. Later on, I'm gonna write the question in our WhatsApp group, and everyone will need to share your answer in one paragraph. The paragraph can consist of, let's say, 2 sentences, 3, 4, or 5 sentences, ya, answering the question. Ada yang bisa menjelaskan kembali? Anybody? Puspa, do you have any answer? Can you re-explain what I told you to do? Susah dipahami nggak ya instruksinya tadi ya? Johan, what about Johan? Lu kok jadi ngilang semua? Hello, hello. Bingung ya, bila. Oke. Ya, let me switch into bahasa Indonesia. Jadi intinya nanti pertanyaan, nanti saya tuliskan pertanyaan di grup WA, but I need to explain it orally because if you have questions, nah kayak bila for example saya bingung gitu ya, kalian bisa tanya gitu. So pertanyaan saya, ini memang agak skip cukup banyak, jadi agak lompat gitu dari materinya. Tadi harusnya ada apa? Ada scaffoldingnya sebelum ke sini, tapi nggak apa-apa karena online ya. Um, Pertanyaan intinya adalah, how do you think, menurut kalian gimana kira-kira language teaching and assessment or test? Gitu ya. Bagaimana menurut kalian language teaching or assessment or test? Atau mungkin seperti apa gitu ya? How should language teaching or test be gitu ya? That can help to uh, to shape, tadi saya bilangnya, to shape the language skills of your students, because you're gonna be teaching Indonesian students, right? Kalau kalian jadi guru kan nanti ngajarnya siswa Indonesia, right? Berarti kalian ngajar bahasa Inggris, ngajar siswa Indonesia gitu ya. Kira-kira pengajaran bahasa Inggris dan assessment tuh ya di dalamnya ada evaluasi gitu kan. Ada aktivitas kelas kalau kita ngomongin assessment dalam bentuk diskusi ya. Ada tes juga kalau kita ngomongin ujian dan sebagainya gitu. Jadi pengajaran dan assessment atau tes seperti apa yang bisa membantu to shape tadi membentuk not only language skill or communicative skill, but also literacy of nggak hanya teks ya, but also the context and also tadi saya jelaskan seperti social awareness, the politics, dan ini kan banyak aspek kan, even the finance, right, the economy and so on. So menurut kalian pengajaran yang seperti apa, tes yang seperti apa atau assessment seperti apa yang bisa membentuk literasi dan kemampuan berbahasa bahasa Inggris dalam hal ini agar nggak hanya paham bahasanya tapi juga konteksnya, bagaimana menggunakan bahasa itu di dalam konteks. Make sense or not? Saya sengaja nggak bikin yang teoritis pertanyaannya karena boleh pakai AI. Kalau saya pertanyaannya kayak apa itu tes, apa itu assessment, ya bikin prompt di AI langsung dapat jawaban gitu. Cuman ini memang butuh pemahaman lebih gitu. Ini Bari bisa jelasin? Bila masih bingung nggak kira-kira? And you can imagine right now advancement of AI is very rapid, right? Perkembangannya. So can you try to imagine like in the future, perhaps in the 3, 4, or 5 years ahead, do you think that language teaching will be an assessment? Yeah, will be something that we're having right now? Will it look like things that we're having right now, or will it change? Agak susah diprediksi, cuman I mean like di dalam pertanyaan itu ada terkandung itu juga ya. Kira-kira teaching dan assessment kalau nanti kalian jadi guru itu yang nggak cuma ngajarin teks tapi konteks dan awareness tentang berbagai hal ya, politik, economy and so on. Berarti kan ini kita ngomongin teaching and assessment in the advanced level, right? Nggak mungkin TK ngajarin itu dong. Lebih ke apa kira-kira? Level minimal level apa? Masa TK mau diajarin politik kan ya enggak gitu. Kalau TK ya lebih ke apa? Language literacy-nya, lebih ke ngajarin baca dan sebagainya. Cuman we're dealing with more advanced, right? Nah, berarti ternyata level apa? Level kelasnya kan juga penting di sini ya. Kalau kita mau bikin tes ya berarti harus lihat levelnya. Nah, itu kira-kira lebih cocok di level apa? Anybody? Fania? Kalau bikin tes yang kontennya itu nggak cuman eh, apa bahasa, tapi juga ada konten culture, politics dan sebagainya, economy, itu lebih cocok di yes kelas bahasa Inggris bisa di universitas atau kalau kalau sekolah ya minimal SMA SMK gitu, right? Kalau atau SMP lah paling cepat, tapi kalau SD kan ya belum ya kalau terkait dengan politics dan sebagainya. So yeah, levelnya berarti we're talking about that ya, Bila, very good. We're talking about more advanced level, minimal ya SMA lah, let's say, atau SMK sampai dengan university. Kira-kira pengajaran bahasa Inggris yang seperti apa, dan assessment seperti apa that can shape the literacy of not only the language but also the context, the politics, the economy, and so on, the culture, and so on. And it also involved your prediction of the future of language teaching and assessment itself. Kira-kira kedepannya itu seperti apa yang cocok gitu pengajaran bahasa Inggris. Ya, oke. Any question? Ada yang masih bingung nggak? Karena nanti kalau di WA udah agak susah tuh tanyanya. Karena tinggal bisa ngetik kan. Kalau di sini masih bisa unmute yourself. Anybody? No? Okay. If not, then this is the last thing that I need to share. We're going to use Google site in this class, everyone. So let me paste this Google site link in your chat. Sorry. So that's the link to our website. You can find everything like the references, the PowerPoints, including the recording of this session in that website later on. Yeah. So I'm gonna put the link in our e-class as well. Right. So that's the material that we're gonna use. Yeah. If you click the link, you'll find this week 1, for example, and then you can find the home, for example, home page right there to see the description of the class and so on. And later on, we're gonna have week 2, 3, and so on and so forth until week 16, right? Later on, they're gonna be available right here. So this is the main media that we're using in addition to the e-class. Yeah, we're gonna be using Google site, this website. Okay. Okay, is that it, everyone? Can we end the session? Yeah. Okay, so yes. Thank you, Bila, Zed, and everyone for your responses. Yeah, so I guess that's the end of this session. Don't forget to sign the attendance list. Presensi, jangan lupa. And please answer my question in the WhatsApp group later on. Yeah, answer my question. That's gonna be your, you know, your homework for today. Yeah, your thought homework for today. Homework about thought ya, tentang pemikiran. Silakan dipikirkan, boleh pakai AI, boleh tanya temennya, diskusi dan sebagainya. Okay? Okay, so I guess that's all for today. And if you're joining my other classes, I'll see you tomorrow, right? Whether it's digital content creation or the other one, introduction to linguistics. See you tomorrow. Stay tuned in our WhatsApp group later on, and I'm gonna share the Zoom or Google Meet link in those groups. And next week, be ready for on-site meetings. Yeah, for this class, we're gonna start at 7:30. Make sure that you wake up on time. You do not sleep late before each meeting ya, because you're gonna need to wake up early in the morning. Ya, kita mulai jam 7.30 untuk minggu depan di kampus. Mudah-mudahan ya. Okay, so I guess that's all, and I'll see you next week, everyone. Bye bye. Stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
sir.
Ya, Yunika hati-hati di jalan. Bye bye.